Okay, guys, I am here to talk to you again about Townstar. Now, this is kind of hokey dokey. This is just an Excel spreadsheet that I have made. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16. Okay. So I have made it where I've got a 16 by 16 grid. Now this around the edge is just the edge, and also this is the river. And what I used to like to do was get river on two sides. I can't get that hardly anymore, so if you guys can, maybe this will be helpful. If not, you're going to have to modify it. But somebody asked me to show a town using a wheat stand that is competitive. You can get in the top 400. Most definitely doing this. Of course, I haven't done it since they added the candy shops. So if a lot of people have bought those and they're utilizing that, well, this might not work very well for you. But basically what I would do is I've got 2 express depots. So if you don't have those, then you're just going to have to use regular trade depots. So what I would do is redo the roads or whatever, but to start with, I would go ahead and put down a piece of road, put my wheat stand. If you see, I've done a legend where it tells you river and ponds are the blue, that's the water, the edge. The roads are in gray. For me, typically I would have a oil seep right here, but if I didn't have the oil seep, I would just put a lumber yard here. And you won't need 4 lumber mills, but typically I would use them to get started, and then either delete one and build something there, or just turn one off and leave it off. But if you want to look at, let's see what else. We've got the wheat stand, we've got grinders, we've got troughs, sheep pens, water pumps are in blue for the water, or for the power plants and for the refineries, and the lumber mills all need water pumps. Trees, the trees and the cotton, this is cotton, and this white is the cotton. These up through here and this are not cotton. With those, you're going to put either not farmhouses, but tractors or loggers or something like that. If you need more ATVs, you can put those, or basically the farmers or tractors. If you decide, I have kind of stopped doing it, but probably fuel storage would be here, and then maybe if you have your fuel storage here and you need a couple of if you didn't have the oil seep, you're going to want fuel storage, and then you'll have a couple of oil pumps. You don't need more than 2. You can't really sell gas as an advantage anymore, so you won't need more than that. You shouldn't need more than that, or at least I haven't, but you'll have to adjust things as the need arises. But so basically what I would do is, when I start, I would count over and figure out, first of all, where my wheat stand is going to be. Now, if you're in the forest, or something else where you need to remove um, trees and things like that, then you might have to put this maybe over here or something, but kind of put it in the area. I like to kind of put it in the area where it's going to end up being, if possible. If that spot, those spots are free, then put a road there and put the wheat stand there. But if you have some reason not to put these things in the right place, then the grinders, the wheat stand, if you have one, all you have to do is collect it and then put it back down wherever you want it. So that's not a big deal. Grinders and troughs, they don't cost that much. So if you end up having to, put one where, a grinder where a trough should be to start with, that's not a big deal. But anyway, so first of all, what I would do when I'm doing this is you can sell the silo that comes with the town. You can sell the pond and the weeds, all that stuff. You can sell that. And then so what you're going to end up doing is putting a couple of ranchers. So you want to start off with a couple of ranchers, and you want to put your wheat stand over here and put a couple of grinders if you can, and a couple of troughs. You got to have 2 troughs in order to get the feed. So what I would do is sell what I can. If you're in the desert, it won't matter. If you put trees, if you start your trees down here, you can certainly move them, but you can start them down here without having to use any other water. And then start your sheep pens right around wherever you put your troughs. So then you start, but first of all, you put your troughs, you put a couple of grinders and a couple of ranchers. Then you have to sell feed. If you can go ahead and get the money and make another rancher and then another grinder, so you can get the feed going more quickly, then that's good. Then what you do after you get enough money, go ahead and build a storehouse. That's the storehouse. The storehouse, and then once you get the storehouse built, you can collect wool, right? So you continue making money, and then you can, once you get 40 or 45K or whatever it is, you build your sheep pen. And once you start with one, these guys can, if you got 3 ranchers going, getting the feed, whatever, then you can collect 10 wool in a fairly short amount of time. And once you get that going, every time you sell wool, at least this is the way it was when I was actually doing this, every time you sell wool, you get pretty much enough to build another sheep pen. So then you can continue growing your sheep pen, putting your road here. As soon as you get, I don't know, several, maybe 4 or 5 or 6 sheep pens, you'll know when it starts getting to be burdensome with these little workers. Well, if you've got your stuff figured out, you can go ahead and start putting in ATVs as you can. So you want to kind of alternate between, like, put an ATV and then put another sheep pen, an ATV and a sheep pen. and or at least that's the way I would do it. You can kind of fill out what feels good, but before you can build these, you're going to have to actually get a lumber mill, and probably you want to get this gas production going. So you want to build a pond here and a water pump, and then you can put your lumber mill here. You get another water pump. This can produce gasoline, and this can produce the petroleum. The power plant here can go off of the same piece of paved road as that refinery, and then the other power plant and do a piece of paved road here. These other pieces of road don't have to be paved, but one thing about it, if you do make them paved, it's like if this is paved, if you want to add more uniform factories, well then you can add, but you got to keep in mind that you're going to have to potentially have oil pumps and have enough loggers and tractors. So there's a lot to juggle, but this is the basic layout. Like I say, this down here, the white is cotton, the green are trees. You may have to adjust, like you might be like, well, let me put a tree here and a tree here and just have those ones for the cotton, whatever it turns out that you do. I put my silo up here for a couple of reasons. One is it's clear out of the way. You don't have to worry about it shading your crops or anything else, because all this other stuff makes sense where it is. You got your lumber mills and your lumber yards all right together. This also makes the cotton convenient for these uniform factories. Okay, so all of those are going to be convenient for that. And when I do my storehouse, what I do is I sell wool for a while, but then once I get some money collected and whatever, and I try to actually get these roads paved before I actually start doing too much. But if you want to just like pave here, then you could put a uniform factory here and go ahead and start creating the wool thread, or I think it's called wool thread, I can't remember now, but so you can start creating that, and typically that will be the first thing that I do, is I set some of these guys up. Let's see, this one here, we'll get, let's see, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, this is as far as you can go, but from here to here, with just these 2 power plants, before you add those ones, you can actually get these uniform factories going, creating wool thread. Now the wool thread sells for a lot more than just wool, so I like to do that. You have the warehouses. If you don't have an oil seep here, then you're going to have a worker, and I always put a forklift over here, and before I actually get all this stuff built over here, what I like to do is maybe put over here, instead of having a power plant, have a wind turbine, and you can potentially have one here. But if you fill in all this area over in these areas, if you fill it in with like loggers or lumberjacks, then you can replace them with loggers as you go, and that way you can change it over to the higher end, but little by little. So you might want to have a bunch of loggers or lumberjacks to start with, and then change them out to be loggers. I don't know really too much else to say that is really useful. This is something that you're going to want to have to play with a little bit and figure out what works. That's kind of what I do. There is no like perfect recipe. I could say, well, you want 14 loggers and 9 tractors and da-da, but that's really, sometimes my town would run differently. So I don't really have a magic number like that. What I would do is, for me, is I would run the loggers. When you start building these uniform factories, you're going to have 1 or 2 lumber mills running continuously. So what I would do is keep adding loggers until maybe they start trying to go home and go and take a nap. Then I would stop and start. You can start adding, once you get a good wool production or wool thread going. You can also add one of these power plants and maybe put a couple more somewhere else of the wool thread going. And anyway, I think about that'd be 5 of them. So you're probably not going to need more than 2 or 3 more wool thread ones. Typically, I would do, like, if I had, say, 7 wool thread, I would try to have like 14 cotton thread, and then the rest of the uniform factories, or fabric plants, I would make into uniform factories, making the uniforms. Now, as far as which ones, you just need to keep in mind that, like, these 3 here would get 3 power, so they would be able to make uniforms. And these 3 here would be able to. And this one would get 2 from that one and 2 from that one. So from here to here on both sides of this would be able to do uniforms. So you just need to keep in mind that some of these are great for wool or cotton thread, and some of them are great for uniforms. But I think that this is a tried and true method. You can probably work with it and come out to be better off. I think I've shown, okay, everything. We've got our warehouses, lumber yards, forklift, fabric plants, ATVs, express depots. Like I say, those don't have to be express depots. They can be trade depots, power plants, refineries, lumber mill. These ones, I know it's confusing because these are white, but only the bottom below this road here, only these ones are cotton. And this, you want to keep that a lumber yard, because lumber yards, or you can make it an ATV, but ATVs and lumber yards are one over, so that won't affect your crops with that being there. The lumber mill needs to be 2 spaces away, which it is in this case. So I've taken all those types of things into consideration. Like your fabric plant cannot be, you can't have fabric plants near your sheep pens without affecting them. I think it's 2 away, could be more than that, I don't remember now. So just keep those kinds of things in mind. So I've got grinders here, so nothing over here is messing with it. There's certain ones like over here where these express depots are, that's not getting any power, so it can't be. See, these will get 3, 2, 1 power. So these can't be anything that requires like any uniform or anything, or fabric plants rather. This could be a fabric plant. However, it doesn't have access to the road as well as like these ones that are directly on the road. So I tend to make that like a logger house usually, or something, either a tractor, logger house, or ATV. And that's about it. If you have any questions or comments, I wanted to use the Citadel of the Wind website, but I've tried on, I have 2 PCs and a laptop that I've tried playing it on, and it won't display properly. I don't know if it's something that I've done or something I've not updated or what, but I don't know. But I know this is a little bit hokey here, but I think it's effective, and you guys can take a screenshot, and if you have Excel, make a grid paper to print out, or I just get a piece of blank paper from my printer, stack of paper, and draw out, measure off 1/2-inch little grids, and make a little graph paper, and then if you tweak it and get it to where you want it, then you can write that down and have a legend to refer back to and go. And so if you didn't have the rivers, there would obviously need to be, you could actually get away with not doing roads. It wouldn't be as fast, like they wouldn't be running down this paved road to get to the troughs, but at the same time, you would be able to get more sheep. You just have to put like a couple of ponds maybe, but then that would also throw off some of your buildings. So a lot to consider. It's just this is what I used to do, and I used to get in the top 100 with it. So hopefully it will be helpful, and thank you for your patience. I know whoever the sweet young lady that asked me to make this video expected a better video, but like I say, I've been trying to get a spot with the water the way I want it, and I could not. And also with the sheep pens, if you needed more cotton, you could do one less sheep pen or something like that. Just like I say, play with it, have fun with it, and good luck in the game. Thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.